All right, here we go, man. Let me plug the joint. The perception of inexperience when dealing with women is why you struggle. Again, the perception of inexperience when dealing with women is why you struggle. Let me plug the joint again. I need you guys to really digest this title. The perception of inexperience when dealing with women is why you struggle. I want you to focus on the word perception and focus on the word inexperience. All right, let me read something to you dudes. Person perception is the study of the cognitive processes involved in categorizing people and their behavior, forming inferences about their qualities and the causes for their action, arriving at attributions that explain behavior, and making predictions about what people are like and likely to do. Let me plug the joint again and we're going to break this shit down. Now, before I do that, there's going to be part of a video that I show you. It's going to be about a minute and a half, 2 minutes. And I'm going to break down what you hear in that particular time frame, right? Again, a minute and a half, 2 minutes. The actual video is much longer than that, but I only need about a minute and a half, 2 minutes of it to illustrate my point, right? Again, the perception of experience when dealing with women is why you struggle. So when we talk about person perception, right? Again, it's the study of the cognitive processes involved in categorizing people and their behavior. So when you deal with women, based on how you act, based on how they perceive you to be, they're going to categorize you. They're going to categorize you. So I'm just going to briefly break down 3 simple categories that women are automatically going to put you in, right? I'm not saying there isn't more than 3, but there are 3 basic categories, and then you can kind of branch off from there. 3 basic categories. Again, person perception is the study of the cognitive processes involved in categorizing people and their behavior. So when women meet you, right, they're going to have one of 3 prevailing thoughts, right? The first thought is, he can get it. Okay, and that's where a woman is instantaneously sexually attracted to you. Okay, and we're going to talk about that again. We're going to put that to the side. That's one prevailing thought, right? The second prevailing thought is, girl, he can't get it. There's nothing he can do. He can't spend enough money. There's nothing smooth he can say to me. Girl, he can change his whole wardrobe, buy some jewelry. He can roll up in a fly whip. Girl, he can't never get this, right? That's the second prevailing thought. The third prevailing thought is, I mean, he's cute. There's things about him that I find interesting, but I don't know, girl. I mean, I'm not going to say it's a no as far as me having sex with him, but I'm not going to say it's a yes either. I'm kind of in the middle. There's some hesitation, there's some trepidation. I'm kind of uncertain. I'm on the fence about which way I'm leaning to. So, most of the time when you guys deal with women, that's probably the category outside of being rejected. That's probably the category most guys are going to find themselves in, where how they behave, how they act will literally be the difference in whether or not that woman comes around to saying, you know what, I'm feeling them. All right, I can fuck him. Or no, you know what, he's cute. No, he's cool. But nah, I'm going to go ahead and pass. Right? Now, and again, those are the 3 main prevailing thoughts, but there's offshoots or different ways women can go in each of those categories. Because just because a woman makes up her mind on the front end that she won't have sex with you at all, that doesn't mean that she won't take advantage of free dates. Okay. But what a lot of guys don't understand is women have already taken sex off the table. You just don't realize it. So a lot of times when you get rejected on the back end, you really got rejected on the front end. It's just the woman felt she can utilize you somehow. So she decided to deal with you, although she knew off rip that she was never going to get it. Right? So I just want guys to understand that. And before I show you the clip, let me speak on something else, right? Again, when we talk about forming inferences about their qualities and the causes of their action. So if a woman is dealing with you and you come across like you don't know what you're doing, many women will assume, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, you just don't have a lot of experience with women. Okay. Now they might also think that, he's a little nervous. He lacks the confidence, right? Maybe he has low self-esteem, and a lot of that can be attributed to the fact that you just don't have the experience with women that will make you a more confident, a self-assured man, right? Right? In their eyes, right? Because you don't have to deal with a lot of women to be confident. But in a woman's eyes, she might think that, right? Now, when we talk about arriving at attributions that explain behavior, again, oh, he must be inexperienced. That must explain why he's behaving like this. That must explain why he's indecisive. That must explain why he's a passive, indirect guy, because he lacks experience. You know what? I'm not really interested in dealing with a guy who is inexperienced when it comes to dealing with women, because if he's showing me that he's inexperienced in just having this engagement, where else is he inexperienced at? The bedroom, perhaps? You know what? Not really interested in dealing with a guy that don't know how to fuck, right? So when we talk about making predictions about what people are like and are likely to do, based on how you're behaving, a woman could surmise, I'm either going to have a negative experience with him or a positive one, or at least I believe I'm going to have a positive one. So I'm willing to see where this interaction goes. Okay, and that's her making predictions on her perception of you based on your behaviors, right? That's why I say the perception of inexperience when dealing with women is why you struggle. So let's go ahead and get into this. All right, so I got my fellas up here. Shout out to L, shout out to Miles. Real quick, tomorrow, 12:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, the Manhood is a skill set show. Myself, Miles, Jay Roman. I don't know if Mr. Justin is going to slide on through, but sometimes he makes guest appearances, even though he's not really a guest. But he'll make his cameo appearances and shit when he can. But shout out to those fellas. So let's go ahead and play this clip or this little segment, and then we're gonna get into this.
Yeah, because my phone was acting up earlier. My bad. Can you hear me okay now?
Yeah, you good. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I met a girl, so I gave her my number. So I was like, hey, what you got going on next week?
Mm-hmm.
And it was like nothing much, just dealing with family in town, that's all. So I was like, hey.
Okay, first mistake. He said, I gave a woman my number and asked her, what does she got going on next week? Gentlemen, stop asking women what they're doing. When you step to a woman, you need to already have a plan. Already have a plan. Okay, let me give y'all some motherfucking game right quick. All you men, there is no reason why all you grown ass fucking men, there is no reason why you should not have at least 2 to 3 places that you're familiar with, that you have frequented. Okay, even if you haven't been in a couple of months or a few weeks or whatever it is, you should have at least 2 or 3 places on tap. So at any given time you run into a woman you want to get at and you want to meet her out somewhere for a drink or whatever it is you guys are into, you already got 2 or 3 joints that you can hip her to right off top. There should be no reason why you guys are taking a week or multiple days or multiple phone calls or multiple texting back and forth situations to come up with something to do. There's no reason for that to ever happen. Okay, and let me just say this real quick. Stop skipping steps. Zach, what do you mean? I talked about this a year or 2 ago. I talked about this. Well, probably longer than that, but stop skipping steps. Meaning this, before you do anything else, before you exchange contact information, before you get yourself bogged down into some long-ass, meaningless conversation about shit that don't matter, the first thing you need to do is ascertain whether or not that woman at least appears to be genuinely interested in you. Does she appear to want to see you again? Because you guys are having this interaction right now, this face-to-face engagement. You need to know, does she even desire to see you going forward? If not, what the fuck are you exchanging contact information for? Find that out first. Save effort, energy, and time. Learn how to deal with women more efficiently and more proficiently. Guys are taking too long to get to the point, and then you step up with chicks, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. Again, let me plug the joint. The perception of inexperience with dealing with women is why you struggle. He said, hey, I gave the chick my number, and I asked her, what is she doing next week? Fuck what she doing next week. If you know you got some free time that particular week, why don't you just tell her, hey, I'll just give you a real quick example. Let's say you approach the shorty. You be like, hey, excuse me, miss, how you doing this evening? My name is Carrie. What's your name? Let's say her name is Jessica. Hey, Jessica, look, short on time, so I'm going to make this brief. You know, the reason why I approached you, I saw you come into the establishment, and I said to myself, this is a very attractive woman, and I wanted to make your acquaintance. So here's the deal. Next week, there's this open venue that I go to. It's a little jazz spot. They play live music. It's a really dope spot. It's a spot that I frequent. The ambiance is nice. You know what I'm saying? It's a very intimate setting. I'm going to be out there next Friday around 7 o'clock in the evening. I want you to join me. And then let her respond to that. Like the homie 50 say, strategic pause. But you see that? You see what I did? I got all my shit off in one swoop. I said everything I needed to say. I gave her a venue, I gave her a day, and I gave her a time. A venue, a day, and a time in one swoop. I didn't do what most of you guys do, and this is the mistake you make. You break your shit down in segments. You do one thing at a time. That's why it takes you a few days or a week to even set up a fucking simple date. I spoke for what, 30 seconds? I accomplished in 30 seconds what it takes a week for y'all motherfuckers to do. Get your shit off in one swoop. Stop doing your shit in segments, because this is what guys do. Well, let me ask this. And if she says yes to this, then I'll ask that. And if she says yes to that, then I'll ask this. No, get all your shit off and let her respond to that. Now, well, let me just do this first. Hold on.
How about you put your number in my phone real quick, and I'll hit you up so we can set up for something next week. And she was like, sure, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, because my phone was acting up earlier. My bad. Can you hear me okay now?
Yeah, you good. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I met a girl, so I gave her my number. So I was like, hey, what you got going on next week? And it was like nothing much, just dealing with family in town, that's all. So I was like, hey, how about you put your number in my phone real quick, and I'll hit you up so we can set up for something next week.
Okay. Unnecessary steps. He's asking her, what do you got going on next week? He's telling, Shorty said, oh, I'm going to be doing something with my family or whatever. He said, how about you put your number in my phone and I'll hit you up. So now you're running behind this chick. Now you're running behind her. You're going to be texting her, trying to call her maybe to try and see when she's free. You're doing too much. That's unnecessary. All he had to do was say, hey, why don't we do this? Why don't I give you my number? When you are free or available, or you come back into town from dealing with your family, have a safe trip, by the way, but once you come back into town, once you're available, I do have some availability the pending week or the following week. Why don't you give me a call and I'll tell you exactly what I have in store for us, right? Okay, you can say that. Now, let's go back to what I did, right? What I said, right? Again, her name is Jessica. Hey, Jessica, I got some free time on this day or this day. I would like for you to join me. Now, let's say she says, oh, you know what? I'm not going to be available. I'm going to be out of pocket all next week. I'm doing something with my family. All right, cool. Hey, no problem. So why don't we do this? Why don't I give you my number? Upon your return from dealing with your family or spending time with your family, if you're interested, give me a call. The offer still stands. Again, I know this very nice jazz joint. It's a place that I frequent on a regular basis. Once you return from your trip or visiting your family, you can join me then. So once you take out your phone, I'm gonna give you my number right now. Give her the number and be like, hey, Jessica, it's been nice talking to you. Hey, again, have a safe trip. Like I alluded to earlier, if you're interested, by all means, feel free to hit me up. We can definitely get together. We can enjoy a nice beverage, listen to some nice music. All right. I look forward to hearing from you. Talk to you then. Boom. And then let her call you if she wants to call you. If she doesn't, not a problem. But you see, now to me, it's I'm putting the onus on her. I'm putting the ball in her court, right? The onus is on you. To me, it's literally, I'm gonna let you know what I'm trying to do. I'm gonna give you the digits, and I'm literally gonna forget all about it. I'm gonna pass it off. Like, all right, it's on you now. And then I'm gonna step the fuck off. What do I tell you guys? Always leave the interaction on a good note. So let's say she says, okay, that sounds interesting. Okay, I think I might be interested in that. Well, here's my number. And then boom. And then you dip. Leave the conversation on a good note. Whether she calls you or not shouldn't matter to you. If she utilizes the number, cool. If she don't, cool. It don't matter. At least you got your shit off. You told her exactly what you wanted to do. You gave her a roundabout time and a roundabout day. She's not available. She just told you she's going to be out of pocket for a week. All right, cool. When you get back, if you're still interested, by all means, feel free to utilize that phone number I just gave you. What a lot of you guys would do is, oh, okay, well, what about that? What about the week after that? Will you be available then? No! Just give her the digits, tell her, hit me up if you're interested upon your return, and then leave her the fuck alone and move the fuck on with your day. Let's go.
And she was like, sure, that's fine.
Okay.
And when I text her, she took 2 days to reply.
Okay, what did you text her?
I was like, hey, this is so-and-so. I'm free next Friday after 5 p.m. Are you free to meet up? And then she
You said, I'm free on this day after 5 p.m. You're available for what? What are you available for? You have no plan. Here's the thing. Okay, I need you guys to understand this. Gentlemen, the first mistake you guys make is you're too quick to exchange contact information before you even had an impact within the conversation, where the woman is actually showing you that there's intrigue, curiosity, and anticipation for what it is you got in store for her. At least get to that point to see if Shorty is even with it. Okay, you guys are skipping steps. Guys are too quick to gather a phone number. You're too quick, and you haven't even discerned or ascertained whether or not she's even feeling you. You don't know. Just because a woman exchanges contact information with you does not mean she's feeling you, right? Let me just say this about minimum effort, right? Because that's what's minimum effort is you motherfuckers just getting a phone number or giving your number out, but yet you don't really set up anything. You never tell the woman precisely what it is you're trying to do. The only time, and quote me on this shit, the only time you can give minimum effort, right? The only time you can give a minimal amount of effort when getting at a chick is if a woman is instantaneously sexually attracted to you, meaning you had her at hello. The moment you walked up and introduced yourself, she already looking at you, she smiling, she biting her lip like, ooh, how you doing, sexy? What's your name again? Carrie, ooh, how you doing? Carrie, you ain't got no girlfriend, do you? Hey, look, don't worry about all that. Look, right now, it's me and you. I'm talking to you. Ain't nobody else but me and you. Ooh, I like that. I like the way you put that. Now you know. Now you know that Shorty with it. That's the only time you can really give minimal effort. Now, I wouldn't suggest that you give minimal effort, but that's the only time you can get away with it, because in most cases, 9 times out of 10, I would say you can get away with it at first. But if you take too long to make something happen, then eventually the woman will lose interest. But initially, the only time you can get away with minimal effort, when you have stepping and you ain't as decisive and as assertive as you need to be, is when a woman already want to fuck you. Just on the strength of you walking up and saying how my name is. That's the only time you can get away with that shit. Most of you guys have never experienced that with one woman, let alone multiple bitches, right? So when you come at a woman and you want to make something happen, come correct, be very detailed oriented or very specific as much as you can, lay it out for her exactly what it is you're trying to do, then let her respond with a yay or a no. Yeah, I'm with it, or no, I'm not.
Take 2 days to reply.
Okay, and so you text her and you say you're free next Friday to do what?
Yeah. I just say next Friday to meet up.
Where?
See what I mean?
Where?
See what I mean?
Yeah.
Where and for what? For drinks? For bowling? For what?
I didn't specify that. I just say I'm free to meet up.
Okay. Let me tell y'all something. This is what guys don't get. A couple of weeks ago, well, maybe about a month ago, I did a video that I uploaded, pre-recorded video, much like this one. And I talked about how when women are consenting to have sex with you, they must consent to not only the physical act of allowing you to enter them or allowing you to touch them in a sexual way, they also must consent to the circumstances surrounding the sex. Okay. So what I mean by that is circumstances could be you live with your partner, you got a roommate, and she talking about how she wants you to dig her out, and she asking you, do you have a place? And you do. Well, it would behoove you to let her know, yeah, I do got a place. However, I do got a roommate, but we got our own rooms. I got to lock on my door. You good, you straight. Right? So she must also consent to the fact that she could be in a house, fucking you in a room, and there's another guy in a house somewhere. Right? Consent to that. If you decide to try to fuck a chick in your car, she got to consent to that circumstance. If you invite a woman to your hotel, she must consent to that. Let's say you live with your parents and shit, and you got a room in an attic or a room in a basement or something like that. And she might ask you, do you live alone? No, I live with my parents, but I got my own room in the basement. My parents ain't tripping. They won't even know you there. It's cool. So you got to let her know. So that way she can also consent to that particular circumstance of, okay, I'm about to go and basically have sex with this man, and there's other people in the vicinity. So when I say woman must also consent to the circumstance, that's also what I mean. Also, another example of circumstance is if all you want is sex and you don't want nothing else, you're not trying to date her, you're not trying to get to know her, she needs to also consent to that circumstance. Because the last thing you want to do is give a woman the misleading impression that she can have more than just that one night with you, and she thinks that you guys are actually building towards some type of connection where you guys maybe can possibly date each other, and then you hit it once or twice and then you dip, right? She didn't consent to that, right? So make sure she consents to the circumstances, not just the actual act of having sex, but the circumstances. So let's bring it back to this joint. So if a woman is going to consent to seeing you, she also needs to consent to the circumstances. Are you trying to get me to come to your house? Are you trying to offer a date? Right? She needs to consent to that. Where are you trying to have me meet you at? Where are you trying to take me to? Right? This is why when you tell a woman, I'm free on Friday after 5. Are you available? She looking at the text like, here we go. Another inexperienced guy who doesn't know how to take the lead. He doesn't know what he's doing. Where does this idiot wants me to meet him at? He said after 5. Can you give me a specific time? Can you tell me at 7:30 here? Give me a time and a place, right? A lot of times women are going to look at that text like, this idiot didn't give me nothing to work with. I don't know what I'm agreeing to. And a lot of you guys, because you're inexperienced, you would say, well, how come she just don't say, what it is? No, most women, 9 times out of 10, they're not going to give you a helping hand in what to do. They're just going to peep the fact that you don't know what you're doing. You're inexperienced. Again, the perception of inexperience when dealing with women is why you struggle. They're going to peep the fact that you don't know what the fuck you're doing. Okay, you're not decisive. You don't know how to actually make a plan and then have the woman consent or commit to that plan, right? You're literally asking her, so are you free? You're not giving her nothing to go with. And let me tell you something. The last thing you want to do is have a woman working with you to try and make something happen. No, you let her know what it is you're trying to do and then let her decide whether or not she wants to partake in it. It's not look, gentlemen, this is not a team thing. When you're setting up a date with a woman, it's not a team event. It's you setting it up. It's not a team event where you're trying to work with the chick and work shit out. No, let her know what the fuck you want to do, what day you want to do it on, more or less what time you want to do it at, and then let her decide whether or not that's something she wants to partake in. And let's say for the sake of argument, she's with it, but the day doesn't work. Or she's with it, but maybe you want to meet at 9 and she can't meet until 10. You can negotiate the particulars, but at least get her to consent and commit to the actual venue or the thing that you're doing, whether she's coming to your crib, meeting you at a hotel, meeting you at a bar, whatever the fuck it is you got in store for her, at least get the particulars out the way and then go from there. The perception of inexperience when dealing with women is why y'all motherfuckers struggle. I'm out.